Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Shit Chat. I'm your host for today, Dan, the Heartthrob, and I'm joined here by my co-hosts, Nick, the Dungeon Master,
What's up, guys?
and Nico, the Movie Buff.
I'm Huckleberry.
What's going on, everybody?
First off, the big question that starts off every episode: what are we drinking, Nico?
So I got a little something here, something called Lagunitas, a little something, IPA.
Ooh, that was smooth.
That sounds crispy. How about you, Nick?
All right, I got Yingling beer, brewed in Pennsylvania. It's actually founded in 1829. It's known as the oldest brewery in America. They offer it's a smaller selection of beers, but they got their lager. They got a light lager, kind of like your Miller Lite. They offer a porter. I believe it's a porter. A couple of years back, though, they actually had a collab with Hershey's to make a really solid chocolate stout that I kind of want to come back, but it hasn't yet. Another good thing for everybody out there, Yingling is actually coming to Illinois very soon. So,
Nice.
oh yes. Oh wait.
Daddy.
Oh, hey, yo. All right, well, I already opened mine, but I'm having a Corona premiere tonight.
Okay.
Fancy.
Nice.
Fancy.
It's supposed to be like this, I guess, a smoother version of a regular Corona. Tastes the same to me, but looks fancier.
And it's more money.
Yup.
Does that one have a higher ABV or no?
It might be lower, actually.
Oh no!
Hold on, what's this?
Oh no.
Somebody touch my spaghetti!
That's you don't want to do that.
Oh no, it's the same as a regular. It's just a 4%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the difference is, but I paid more money for it.
I don't even know what percent this is. This is something. It's good.
All right, and for our topic today, one that's very near and dear to all our hearts, video games.
Perfect.
So, our first question is, what is the either earliest or very first video game that you remember playing? Why don't you start us off, Nick?
Oh God! Is that because I'm the oldest?
Yeah, maybe.
All right, fine.
Yes.
So I will say that the earliest one I remember, it was a game called I believe it was called Xenon, and it's what you would call like a bullet hell game today, where you got your little ship and you're flying over everything, and bullets are coming at you, and you're dodging out of the way, and you're picking up upgrades, and then at the end of the level, you're fighting a big boss. Usually have some sort of 3 lives or whatever, but I remember playing that when I was 3 or 4.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a journey for video games for me, so I'm actually really excited to see where this goes today. But I'd say, yeah, that's probably the earliest one that I remember.
Now, what's the one that got you into gaming, you would say?
That has to be Doom. I remember around the same era of Xenon, floppy disks, and popping that little floppy disk in there, and the click and the noises, and then Doom would start up, and it was just. I would say, yeah, it's got to be Doom for me, because a lot of my gaming still revolves around Doom. So, but yeah, I remember that being on floppy disk, Doom and Doom 2, for sure.
Nice.
Nice. How about you, Nico? First video game you remember playing?
God, dude. Oh man, dude, I couldn't tell you the very first game I remember playing, other than possibly it'd have to be between Duck Hunt on SNES or was it is it Pole Position? Was it Pole Position?
The F1 racing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it had to have been one of those two. I don't remember which one exactly, but they all kind of meld together with me just because like I was so young when I started playing them. I had to have been like legit 3 years old. So it's between Pole Position, Duck Hunt, and like shortly after that, I remember getting Turtles in Time. So like they all kind of like meld together. But I want to say it was probably for sure one of those first two.
Nice. And what would you say would be the first video game that sparked your love for gaming?
My love for gaming, that one's a little bit tougher to answer. I would say a little further down the line might have been, if not Mortal Kombat, it was probably Tekken. I think the very first Tekken on PlayStation for me was the one that like solidified like, oh, this is what I like doing. Yeah, dude. Between Tekken and Mortal Kombat for sure. I think I never really played Mortal Kombat too much when I was younger. It was like I played with my cousins because they had the game. I didn't have it because like there was a lot more blood in Mortal Kombat than there was Tekken. So I don't think my parents were like down getting that game for me. But because my cousins had it, like I got to play it whenever I went over there, type of shit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
What about you, Dan?
Oof. First one that I remember playing is WrestleMania 2000 on Nintendo 64.
Fuck, I'm old.
Dude, yeah, I was probably like 4 years old. But yeah, that was the first one that I remember playing, and also was it Donkey Kong 64 as well? And then what's it? Diddy Kong Racing on Nintendo 64 as well. But I would say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, very good game.
Oh yeah, it is, dude. But video games that got me more into gaming would probably be the super early Need for Speed, like Hot Pursuit on PlayStation 1 with amazing graphics for the time.
Wonderful graphics for the time.
Amazing, dude. But yeah, like when I was growing up, I really loved playing like the racing games. So yeah, Gran Turismo and Need for Speed, and I think that was it for a little bit. But yeah, those were my early games.
Nothing like a game where you get to run from the cops during a race. I mean, I feel like Hot Pursuit had everything that you ever wanted in a video game, especially a driving video game.
Yeah, that's pretty legit. I would say. The one that kind of comes close to Hot Pursuit in terms of Need for Speed, I think, is did you guys ever play Most Wanted?
Oh, I loved Most Wanted.
Most Wanted was really fun. That one came close, but I think Hot Pursuit, especially when they remastered it, or remade it rather, I think that with those like really scratch that itch of like you got racing and freaking running from the cops, like and like trying not to get caught while you're in the middle of a race.
Yeah, Need for Speed Most Wanted. I think that would probably be my number one Need for Speed, closely followed by Underground and Underground 2 and Carbon. They had a good run there for like 5 years.
Was Most Wanted the Need for Speed where when you played multiplayer, like the person you were playing with or people, they could join up as the cops in the game?
Yeah, I think that was the newer Most Wanted because they had two of them. They had one in, I think the one that I'm talking about is the 2005 one. I don't think they had multiplayer back then on that one. But in the newer Most Wanted, the remake, they did have that online where you could play as either a cop or a racer.
I remember
That was
calling
pretty cool
in.
too.
I remember calling in when my brother and I would play. Like you called in the helicopters and the spike strips, but that was on Xbox, so it might have been around 2005. So I have to look that up, but I'm almost positive that it had multiplayer capabilities.
It might have. I was playing on GameCube, so I don't know.
Oh, well, it was split screen.
Yes.
It was split screen. It wasn't over the internet. So
Oh,
yeah.
I remember it on PS2, and I see. I don't remember the split screen necessarily, but maybe I do. I can't. I don't know, dude. It's been it's been so long.
Maybe you just didn't have enough friends to play with.
I was playing with my cousins, dude.
Oh, okay, I guess. All right. Well, I was playing with my brother, wasn't even my friend, so ooh, I'm not judging you.
Yeah, sure you weren't.
Not at all. Did I know Dan, you're a PC gamer now. When just out of curiosity, when did the PC gaming come into like focus for you? Like when did you turn to PC gaming?
I think built my first PC in, I think it was like pre-COVID, like right before it.
So you're new to the scene
and everything. Yeah, I'm pretty new to it. But I mean, I had been wanting to build one for a long time beforehand, but it was just like it was just intimidating just watching a lot of videos on them. And just like there's so many options for parts and everything. I just overthought it, but yeah, I ended up going with a pretty good setup and yeah, never looked back. I mean, it's night and day difference from console gaming. Like it's just just the way the games run is so much smoother and just a variety of games. Like there's so many games on Steam, or like there's so many indie games you could play. Like I've got so many games on in my Steam library that I'm probably never gonna play.
I gotta ask, how many do you have in your Steam library?
Oof, probably not as much as you, but let's see. We got 236 games.
Yeah, I have 279. So you're up there.
You got me beat.
Wow.
Yeah, you're up there.
How about you, Nico? When are you joining the PC gaming?
PC Master Race?
PC Master Race, man.
I mean, dude, I don't know. At this point, I should just pull the trigger and freaking build a PC out. Because, I mean, right now, my PS4 and my Xbox One are kind of collecting dust. So, that's just because I haven't pulled the trigger on freaking on upgrading to next gen yet. So I think it's because I'm like, do I really want to mess around and spend $600 on one of these consoles and them just go obsolete in the next 3 to 4 years? Because I mean, they're already talking about PS6. And like, it seems like games graphics are like constantly, and even just performance in general, is just constantly upgrading and upgrading. Like, we're working on the next thing, we're working on the next thing, we're working on the next thing, and it's only going to be available on next console or next gen console. So it's like video games are getting to the point where like they're going above and beyond like what consoles are doing. So it's like the only way to really play these games are PC.
Yeah, I mean, you remember the Cyberpunk launch?
Oh my god! I wasn't playing it, but like I remember seeing the headlines and seeing some of the articles around it. It was just like, dude, what is going on? This is a brand new game, and it's already breaking. What's
I
going
mean,
on?
it was horrible on PC. I couldn't imagine how bad it was on console. Like that first week, so many bugs on PC alone, and then I was seeing people on console couldn't even get it started.
Wow.
That was a bots to launch for sure.
Yeah, that was horrible.
I actually never played Cyberpunk. Just I don't know if it was the hype around it or whatever it might be, or maybe it just wasn't interesting to me. But I stayed away from it.
Yeah, I mean, I pre-ordered it and everything, and just that first week, it was just so horrible playing it. And honestly, like by the time they fixed everything, I just lost interest in it. I think maybe I played it for like a couple hours or something. And I was like, whatever.
Do you think that the way it launched hurt your like opinion on it?
Yeah, I would say so because I think I was pretty excited for it. Just like the whole idea of, I love like the whole idea of it, and then just I think there was just so much hype around it. Like supposedly they were working on it for like what, like 10 years or something.
It was a long time, yeah.
Yeah, for like a really long time, and then yeah, I just don't know what happened. I don't know if it was rushed or what, or well, yeah, it just didn't. Yeah, I think it kind of like messed with me wanting to play it, so I never really went back to it.
Yeah, I heard.
I
Was
mean,
it Ubisoft that did that one?
it was like it was like CD Project Red or something.
Okay.
It was a smaller, I think, studio.
Yeah, but who published it? I think that.
Oh, I'm
that
not
was the
sure.
question. Maybe I'm thinking a different game actually. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I think the video game that I waited for the most was God, Duke Nukem Forever. Because you want to talk about development hell? That game was in development for, you know what? Google's open. Let's just look. But that game was in development forever. And I remember when it finally came out, it was good, but it wasn't like it was a little over 14 years. It started development in 1997 and released in 2011.
Wow.
So a little bit more than Cyberpunk, but I don't know if you guys have ever played Duke Nukem, but it's a Doom style shooter, but it's about aliens instead of demons, and it's just a silly shooter. So the fact that this came out and like it was just a fun, silly game to play, I loved it. It was worth the wait.
Oh man, yeah. I think I very very faintly remember playing it on was it Xbox 360? I think that's what I had it on.
Yeah, I think it came out for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it came out for that. Before my Xbox 360 got the Ring of Death.
Oh, death
yeah,
to your fun.
dude, it's just oh my gosh. Everyone was plagued by that back then. But did you guys ever play Borderlands?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Dude, I love Borderlands so much. I think all of them. I play them all. I do the split screen with my cousin, and we would just play them. Go over to his house, just playing for like 4 or 5 hours straight. I think that was like my first. I think that was the first game that I actually put in like a lot of hours into. Like I actually grinded it out, and it was just I think one of my favorite like early games that I've played.
Yeah, I got on the Borderlands bandwagon early on in when it came out for Xbox, I think. When it was on Xbox.
360, yeah.
Yeah, I never finished the first one on Xbox. I actually wound up buying it on Steam and playing it with. I think I played the first one by myself, but I definitely played 2 and pre-sequel with Ashley. And for some reason, the third one never really grabbed our attention as much, so I don't think I played 3 all the way through. I think we're probably almost done with it, but Yeah, no, it was. I think Borderlands is like, it's a really good looter shooter. Like I love the guns in that game. That's the ones that talk to you are hilarious. I think they definitely nailed it with that game. But yeah, I'm excited for the fourth one coming out.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully they'll mess it up.
Well, they're under a lot of hot water, they're in a lot of hot water because what happened with that studio? I can't remember what happened with it. Oh no, they're not in hot water. I think people were kind of upset that they released Borderlands 3 on Epic Game Store first before Steam.
Oh.
And I know that was a big thing, and it was like months before. So I waited. Yeah, I waited till it was on Steam. I was like, I'm just gonna wait because I don't really have any interest in the Epic Game Store. I am not a Fortnite. You will not catch me ever playing Fortnite. I do not like Fortnite. I think the style of gaming that Fortnite is trash. But I mean, we can get to that style later. Like we have a lot to talk about, but I guess getting Fortnite out of the way, I just don't like the
Battle Royale.
Yeah,
like
Battle
style.
Royale. Thank you. Yep. Like I didn't like any of them. None of them. I just don't. I never really found the appeal on that. So, but it's again, I'm a small majority. So.
Good old Fortnite.
Yeah. I got a question for you guys. What? And Dan, you can probably look this up really easily. But what is the game that you guys have the most hours put into?
Oh, that's easy for me.
Is it the same as me?
No, it's not the same. Well, wait, no, it's not the same.
Okay. What is it?
DC Universe Online.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've got. I don't know how much playtime I've got on it, but I know I've got a lot. I played that game almost straight for. It's been out for almost 15 years at this point. So, at about 12 years, I was playing almost 12 years straight, and then it's been off and on since then, and now it's just been off. So,
All right, Dan, what do you? Oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I'm not gonna go into too deep a detail as to why I don't play it anymore. If you're wondering why that is, go ahead and check out my video, or not my video, but I had a podcast for FNA, the Full Nerd Academia podcast, talking about this very subject. So you can go over there and watch.
That's a shameless plug, sir. You just plugged your own other podcast.
I mean, I'm on both podcasts. Why can't I?
Anyway, Dan, what do you think your most played game is, and how many hours?
It actually might be Forza Horizon 3. Let me check.
How many hours do you have that on Steam?
Actually, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I played it on my Xbox One, but yeah, I played it for like 2 or 3 years straight, from what I remember. Well, I got into it a lot because I would do a lot of because you could customize your cars like visually, and then you can modify them like mechanically, and I would do a lot of like tuning and builds, and I would upload them onto like, because they'd have like a kind of like a server where you could upload the cars that you build, and then other people could download them and use them. So I would build them for like, yeah, so it's kind of like Gran Turismo. I don't know if you guys have played Horizon, but it's pretty much, I think it is like Gran Turismo's direct competitor, because it's Microsoft's like version of the racing simulator. But yeah, they have like classes, so I would build cars for classes and like upload them, and I'll do a lot of online racings, but I would say it would probably be close to like 200 or 300 hours on it.
Oh, come on. That's it?
It's rookie numbers, but it's a lot.
What do you guys... Go ahead. No, finish.
I was going to say, my next most played game is probably going to be Modern Warfare 3. Call of Duty. I think that's close to like.
Mm.
Well, I had it on like I had it on 2 different systems because I had it on PlayStation 3, and I think I had like 100 something hours on that, and then I had it on Xbox 360. I don't know how many hours I had on that, but I would bounce in between both systems. But yeah, if my next most played game is probably one of the Call of Duties.
Oh, okay. All right. So since we're talking about games, let's play a little game. What do you think is the highest, like the most, the game I have the most hours in? One guess each.
Diablo 2.
If there was a way to track it, it might be, but I don't have proof of how much I've played Diablo 2.
Okay.
So that might be accurate. However, I have raw numbers for another game.
Is it World of Warcraft?
That's another one where I can't fit. Well, I haven't played WoW in a long time, but I have 800 hours logged on Grand Theft Auto 5.
Holy shit!
And
Grand Theft
yeah.
Auto 5, really? Huh.
Yes. Most of that is GTA Online through GTA 5, obviously.
Right.
But yes, I have a lot of hours played on that.
Wow.
I found a way to tweak the servers, to tweak the server so like you can just get an all friends server and still have like everything online. So what I would do is I downloaded a like an internet stupifier, and that is not the right term for it, but that's basically what it was. And I basically like I would get into a normal lobby and then act like I'm lagging out. And then as soon as right before it goes to kick you, I would put my internet back full force and no one would join the server. So then you just invite all your friends and you could play for 8-10 hours with nobody else bothering you. So like I owned all the businesses on GTA 5. I mean, there's probably a lot more now, but I owned all the businesses on GTA Online, and like my brother bought them all, and my wife bought them all, and we would just go back and forth, just doing like, you could do some of those missions by yourself to just make money, and then we just had like unlimited money. So I guess I kind of cheated, but also it was super fun. But yes, GTA 5 is it's logged the most hours. Diablo 2 and World of Warcraft are definitely up there in hours because I raided a lot back in the day. So it's got to be up there somewhere. Yeah. And then you said Modern Warfare 3, Dan, was your next one?
Yeah, I think that was my favorite.
Modern Warfare 3, 2011. Online. I have 188 hours on that.
Nice.
But 354 on Modern Warfare 2.
Oof.
I was gonna say, I feel like Modern Warfare 3 was fun, but Modern Warfare 2, I think, was the one where people were really starting to like get real hardcore into it. Because I remember, like, I even started getting a little bit hardcore into Call of Duty. And I'm not a big first-person shooter like player, but Modern Warfare 2 was just like, I don't know, I caught the hype and was like in on it. And then when Modern Warfare 3 came out, I played it for a while, and then eventually I was just like, all right, I'm gonna set this down and I'm never gonna pick it up again.
When you say you're not a first-person shooter, is it like mostly first-person like multiplayer shooter, or just in general?
Maybe just in general. I think it depends on the game. It's also a bit of the multiplayer like mechanic, but it's the multiplayer aspects to it. But just in general, I don't usually play like first-person shooters in general. So I'm much more of a fan of like action adventure RPG, like first-person RPG, and not even first-person RPG, but just like single-player RPGs and stuff like that. I'm much more like into story versus like some of the other aspects of like modern games, I would say.
I think that's the best thing about gaming, though, is that gaming touches everything, right? Like, you got your driving games, your simulator games, like your strategy games. So I think that's why, like, a lot of people like to read, and I like to read back in the day, but I felt like gaming was more stimulating. So like even the dumb games, I'm just like, I'd rather do this than watch TV or read a book. So, but I like reading. I just would prefer to play a game. But
No, yeah, there's definitely something for everybody. Man, it's crazy. There's too many options when it comes to gaming.
I was gonna say there's tons of options. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I don't know. I don't know that I would say that there's too many options. I think that I think that's why I like gaming. I mean, it doesn't matter what you look at. I feel like some people get overwhelmed with the options, whether it's gaming, cars, whatever, houses. Not that I'm comparing the three, I guess, but I don't know. I don't feel like gaming does have too many options. I think it has, like Nico said, something for everybody. Because like maybe you're looking for like a shooter game that's like round based, and you don't want to play Call of Duty. You got like Killing Floor. There's another game that I can't think of right now, but there's so many action adventure RPGs out there. You got the Diablos of the world. You got Titan Quest. You got like Path of Exile. So like, if you don't like Blizzard as a company, you go play Path of Exile. If you don't like indie games and you want to play something from a big corporation, you play Diablo 4 or 3 or 2. So I think gaming is like the perfect box of things, so to speak. But
And I would say aside from like movies, it's aside from like movies and television. Shut up. Aside from movies and television, it's like the next like storytelling medium, right? Where it's like, I mean, you could get games that are based off of movies, or you can get games that are based off of other IP like comic books or even books and stuff like that. But then you get stuff that's like wholly created by somebody else, and like this is this is their story. This is what they want to tell, and they tell it over the series of like one game, or even just like a trilogy of games. And it's like, anything, especially like, again, that's part of the reason why I like a lot of single player like games or single player RPGs, is because it's a lot more story driven. And it puts you in control of this character, and like helps like either helps tell the story, or helps you create the narrative of like what's this character doing and why do they do it, or whatever that case may be. Or maybe and each person is going to have a different story to tell to some degree, because they're playing it a different way. Yeah, so I mean, like in that regard, I would say that video games in general has evolved into like the next best or the next great storytelling medium for sure.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
What's on that?
Yeah.
Did you have any other things you wanted to touch on, like questions, Dan?
Not that I can think of. I mean, is there anything you guys got?
Oh, I would ask like what? Oh, do we Nico and I start talking at the same time?
No.
Oh, I would ask what you guys like, everything that you've played that you can remember. What do you think the best video game that you have played is?
I'm gonna go with Fallout New Vegas.
That's a good one. I like that game.
I love. Yeah, I mean it's up there between Fallout 3 and Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas. I think those are two of my top RPGs. But yeah, the first time I played Fallout New Vegas, I just fell in love with it. Like, I've replayed that game so many times, and yeah, I've got it on my PC. I've played it like regular vanilla, and then I've got it out with mods and everything. But yeah, one game that I could always just go back to, and I think just has like an amazing story, just like great gameplay, is going to be Fallout New Vegas.
Nice. No, I it's a respectable title. Nico, I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but Nico, what do you think?
Well, first, before I say it, I'm sure you probably have one. I have two in mind, but what's the one that you're gonna say?
I'm thinking Skyrim for you.
Yeah, that's one of them for sure. Definitely one of them for sure. That's got probably the most like replayability for me. I just there's so many different ways to play a character in that game. Like it, between building it a certain way with like the different, the different skills and stuff that you can like skill lines that you can go down, the different side quests, and I mean even if you go through the main story or you fuck off from the main story and only do side quests or only, I mean even so I'll go build a character to just go freaking camp in the woods with. Like it's just like that's fun, right? And then there's that, um, and then like that's just vanilla, and then like you go into like modding it and stuff like that. You could tweak so many different things, and like obviously I don't play it on my PC because I would break my PC if I did that. But like I mean on my Xbox, like I threw so many I like threw so many mods onto it, and like trying different stuff out, and like does this work with this? Does this work with that? And like trying it out just to see like how this new game style works or this new gameplay works. Or I mean I played it over and over again on my PlayStation and all this other stuff too. So I've got it on two separate systems. But then aside from that, the other game I would say, and like this is tough because, so like I want to say Marvel Spider-Man, the one that came out on PS4, because that the story in it is really awesome, and the playability, it legit makes you feel the closest to being Spider-Man ever. But at the same time, if I'm thinking story wise, then I'm starting to think of like Spider-Man Web of Shadows or Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, which like the storytelling potential on those were like awesome because you play as like four different Spider-Man in different like universes and stuff, and like you can build them all each differently, and like there's a ton of like trophy getting like missions and stuff to get. I mean, and that be up to that point was like the closest you can get to being Spider-Man. So I really loved those quite a bit. But yeah, it's probably between Skyrim and Marvel Spider-Man, the one for PS4. What
Nice.
about you, Nick? What about you?
Well, like you, I don't want to say two or three or anything like that, but like there's a lot of games that I like to go back to because like they are obviously near and dear to my heart. But I'm probably gonna name a game that neither one of you two have heard of before. It is an older game. I think the style of the game is it's unique in itself because you actually technically you play the bad guy. And the name of the game is called Dungeon Keeper. And you basically,
This sounds so familiar. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So basically, you're like an overlord, like an evil overlord, and you're building dungeons underneath like human settlements, and like they try to invade your dungeon, and like you're able to build traps and get creatures in your dungeon. You train them to be stronger, and like there's different rooms that attract different creatures. And I don't want to say the game was perfect, but it had a little bit of everything. It had a little bit of RTS to it. It had a lot of strategy to it. Like you could put creatures in like a library room that you would build, and they would research spells that you can cast. And then like later games, like you can take bodies to a graveyard, and it makes vampires for you. It was a phenomenal game. And then 2 was really good, but I always go back to 1. Like I always have an itch that I feel like I have to scratch and play that game, like at least once a year. And I'll play it all the way through. I won't play anything else, start to finish, 20 levels, and I believe there's 4 secret levels. But yeah, I would argue that that's probably my top game right there. and then right behind that is Doom. Like I said, Doom is still very near and dear to my heart. Whether it's the new one, the old one, I'm actually playing the old one right now. Not right now, but like I'm going through the original Doom and Doom 2, the original Doom 2. I think it's like technically a remaster, but like it was their anniversary, so they came out with a bunch of stuff, and they wound up upgrading my the game on Steam because it's new, so I'm playing through that right now. So, and then if you're talking like story game, like I don't know, I think Baldur's Gate has probably been a really good story-driven RPG. I played the first two when they like originally came out. I never finished 3. 3 was really good, but I don't think my wife and I ever got there. So, but it was good. It was a very good story-driven game, especially if you like the D&D aspect of like gaming. But yeah, I'd say like those are up there for me. And GTA, obviously, with my 800 hours.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah. But yeah. I have another question if you don't have one, Dan.
No, go ahead.
What do you guys think the most hyped video game was? And then it wound up being like meh.
Well, I already brought it up.
Cyberpunk
for me, yeah. Personally, yeah, it was Cyberpunk.
I'm kind of asking because I have one that I believe is super hyped up, and I like. Sorry, Nico. Why don't you go ahead?
I can't necessarily think of one. It's honestly it's not one that I've played, but I know I heard that it wasn't as good. I'm trying to think. It was a Halo game. Was it Halo Infinite? I can't remember exactly which one it was. My cousin would know better than me, but I remember him like talking to me about it. And he was like, "Dude, it's bad." I can't remember if it was Halo Infinite or if it was like it wasn't ODST. I don't think. I can't remember honestly. I remember there being a lot of hype around because it was like the first Halo game after X amount of years, and it was like maybe it is Halo Infinite because I think that's the one that's multiplayer if I'm not mistaken. But I just remember people being really upset about it. I can't remember if there was another one that like if it's even one that I've played recently that like just didn't live up to the hype. Yeah, nothing's coming to mind, unfortunately. I can't think of anything else.
Dark Souls. That's mine.
Which one? The first one?
Oh, just all of them.
You mean just like they're overhyped in general?
Yeah, and I just don't. So, man, I like the concept because I like big boss battle like games like that, and I like that there's difficulty to it because like that's another thing we could talk about here in a minute. But like, I think they're overhyped. Like arguably people think that those are some of the better games like out there right now, and I think a lot of it has to do with games over time got super easy. Like, I mean, again, we'll touch on that in a second. Sorry, but like the actual like gameplay and stuff like that for Dark Souls, and like I like Bloodborne, but I'm gonna put Bloodborne in that category just because it's the same type. They're just I don't know. Like, I'd rather play a game like Baldur's Gate. I just don't think that. And again, like the not Elden Ring, but rather Dark Souls, like kind of caters to a certain audience, and that audience isn't me. But I think those games are so overhyped. So, but I think going back to what I was saying earlier, I think the evolution of video games has been like obviously video games are targeted at children. But like if you think about the Super Mario Brothers series, like that the actual side scroller game when you were a child, or even now, maybe even now, it was a difficult game. It was nothing like Souls difficult, but it was hard. And if you think about Mario games today, I'm sure none of us they're just easy, right? And I get it. Like Nintendo is catering to the children, and I think like a lot of games took that route. I mean, if you look at the evolution of World of Warcraft, like World of Warcraft vanilla, you had to make a raid, have a guild, and they would form a raid party, or you would just spam like chat look until someone picked you up. Now you can click a button and join a raid party, and it's like, and they dumbed down. I believe I haven't played one in a while, but I'm pretty sure when I was playing, if you joined a raid group through like the raid finder, it was easier. So like, why? Like, I just don't understand why they would make it easier. Like, keep the difficulty the same. I mean, I guess because like in a guild, you all get in like your TeamSpeak or your Discord nowadays, but we had Ventrilo back in the day that we'd all hop on and chit chat and shit chat. No, okay.
You said the thing.
I did. You get on your. I mean, I think Nico, you're probably familiar with this because it's an MMO, but you get on your raid, and Raid Finder, you're not as coordinated, so I think that's why they kind of dumbed it down. Is like, well, you're just with a random group of people, so it's not going to be as difficult. But I think people were yearning for harder games, and harder games that were like, not just harder like dumb challenges hard, but like actually like there's some strategy behind Dark Souls and stuff like that, I think. And it's, I don't know, I feel like it's, I'm not saying that they're bad games, but I'm saying like I feel like they're overhyped for what they are. That's my opinion.
I hear what you're putting down. So on that, in that same like line of thinking, as far as a game being overhyped, now I don't want to say that it's overhyped in a bad way, because I heard that it does turn out to be a good game, but I think what people were expecting from it, it didn't end up being what they expected. So there's a game that dropped last year called Black Myth Wukong, where you're playing as Sun Wukong, and like going through and doing some of his trials, some of his labors and stuff like that. And so people were expecting it to be a lot more Souls-like or Soulsborne-like. So, they were expecting like a lot of the fights to be very difficult and very hard to like get through or get past. And from what I understand, some of them were, but at the end of the day, or at the end, like not even towards the end of like the fight, like once it would end up being like a little like very easy thing, like easy mechanic for you to be able to beat a boss. And they were like, "Oh, that's I was making it more difficult on myself than it needed to be." And people were thinking that it was supposed to be like super hard, but really it was a much more story-driven. It was a story-driven game where it's like, yeah, we want you to get through the boss battles. It's not going to be uber difficult. It's going to have some difficulty to it, but it's not going to be that like you want to put your head through a wall because you can't freaking, this is your 4th hour trying to get through this, get past this boss or whatever. So like, I think people from the like Soulsborne like fandom were upset about that. So like they overhyped Black Myth Wukong to be like something similar to what they were what they were used to playing or what they like to play, and it wasn't anything like that.
Okay.
So kind of the inverse of that, so to speak. I have a question.
Okay.
What's a guilty pleasure game for you guys?
Whoa.
Like one that like not a lot of people play, or if somebody found out you were playing it, they'd probably be like chastising you, like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Are you serious about that, or are you just messing around?
I don't even think that's a real game. That's from South Park.
It sounds like a real
Park.
game. Oh, yeah. It sounds like a real game. I'm sure.
All right, I'll tell you mine.
Okay.
That would be House Flipper Simulator.
Oh, okay.
It's exactly what it sounds like. Yeah. I
You
think
just
I
buy
have.
and sell houses?
Yeah, so like you buy like a rundown like property, and then you have to like go in and mop up and kill roaches, and like there's tasks that you have to do, and then you can decorate it, and the more you decorate it, the higher you could sell the property for. And that's pretty much the game. I
Okay.
have 12 hours played in it, and I bought it 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you just bought it.
I'm also currently playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, which is a great game.
Oh, nice.
That was a good game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, I think probably the guilty pleasure game is definitely House Flipper, like, because I think even Ashley, when she came downstairs, she's like, what are you playing? And I was like, House Flipper Simulator.
I can
But
explain.
yeah, I can explain, I swear. But other than that, I don't see anything else that that I would consider a guilty pleasure for me. It's definitely that one.
Okay. What about you,
Oh,
Dan?
man. I actually quite frequently will play Roblox.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never played Roblox. I've only ever seen it played. So like,
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah. They got a lot of good games, man. I play with my nieces.
Okay, well, if you're playing with your nieces, that's different. I thought you were
Pretty
just like some
fun.
30-year-old dude playing Roblox. Like,
he
that's
goes,
a little different. That's a little different.
Yeah, they got some good games on there, man.
Candy Van Simulator.
oh god.
Oh man.
Oh, you know what? Actually, there is probably another guilty pleasure, but I'm gonna let Dan finish.
No, yeah, I think that I would say that would be that.
I guess you two can judge me on this, and you can tell me which one's worse. American Truck Simulator.
Oh, I love American Truck Simulator.
Wow.
Oh, you do? Oh, that's
Hell
awesome.
yeah. I love Farming Simulator too.
So you got more guilty pleasures than just Roblox. You come up with words sitting on your tractor.
I didn't know that
cutting
was a fucking guilty pleasure. I thought
I
it was
mean-
a genuinely good game.
They're good games, but Nico said like it's one of those games where like really that's what you're playing right
What?
now. Like, I mean, okay, House Flipper is probably worse then, but from time to time you take those long ass trips in American Truck Simulator. You're just staring at a computer for 3 hours trying to get from one side of the country to the other.
Fuck man. You know, I got so into that for a minute. I literally wanted to build like a whole setup, like the fucking 3 monitors, steering wheel, the big shifter. Like I would watch people, dude. I would watch people stream it, and they've got like a whole fucking setup in their room. It's ridiculous, but it's a good game. It's a good game.
It is a good game. I agree. Okay. All right. So House Flipper is the worst. All right, Nico. I'm ready to hear yours.
I don't know. I might have you beat. So you know how like when you're watching, I don't know, TikToks or Reels or anything like that, how they're usually intercut with some ads, and it's usually some very ad and clickbaity like mobile game.
Oh no!
It's usually one of those. That's like one of those.
Exactly what you're talking about.
So like, I just downloaded one a couple of days ago, and I was like, and it was just out of a fucking like a need to just like spell some words out, and it was like, cause it's like the little wheel. I think it's called like word puzzle or
Wordscapes.
Wordscape.
It's literally it's like stuff like that. So it's that, or like there's another one I have where it's like ball sort where you're literally just like moving,
No, you did not.
moving the little fucking like marbles back and forth to like make like have them all.
Oh no!
I know I have another one that's like kind of embarrassing. Where is it? So I got ball sort. What else? Like I said, that one's called, I think, Word Travel. I got Solitaire on here. I got Spades on here too. Unscrew Puzzle. That's another one.
Oh, is that the wood one?
Yeah, where it's like it's a pattern and you gotta unscrew, like you unscrew one, put it in a hole, and then
You gotta do it in
basically
a
have
certain order.
the whole like slides off of it without like messing up. Yeah, I've got that one too.
How many of those ads had big-breasted women in them that you were trying to unscrew or like ball sort or do something, and then you download the game and there's not one of them in sight?
I'm not a prevert, okay? I don't freaking download those games for that reason. I download them out of a need of like I need some stimulating puzzle to freaking like to
some mindless
do
game.
something.
I don't think that
Literally,
helps
it's
your
just like a
case.
mindless game. It's literally just a mindless game of just like, yeah, I'm just like passing some time while I'm watching television for some fucking reason.
Oh, that would bug the shit out of me if you were watching TV and playing a game on your phone. Like, pick one. Pick one.
I have
Nico.
ADHD, dude.
Do
I
that all the
fucking
time,
do all
man.
kinds of shit.
You both. So I do my best to stay away from mobile gaming. Like I'm the type of person that'll be like, oh, that sounds fun. I'll download it, play it for like 10 minutes, be like, stupid, done. I'm not doing this. So I don't have any mobile games I'm playing currently. There was one trading card game simulator, and I played it like I was playing it at night, and like you have your own trading card shop, and then you can open packs, and I'm like, yeah, that was fun for 5 days, and then yeah, it's off my phone. So
Damn.
yeah, I'm not big into mobile games.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, that's one of the genres that like I have nothing to contribute because I don't get it. I tried to play like actually the one mobile game that I played the most was Pokemon Go. And
Oh, I played that so much.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
My
It was
wife
a problem.
my wife, my brother and I when it first came out, we were like my brother would drive over to our apartment and we would go out for like 4 hours walking all of like Carroll Stream, like, oh, there's a gym, oh, there's a thing, oh, and then like literally the third week when like the servers all crashed and you couldn't play, I'm like, ugh. And then I got back into it for a while, and now I haven't gone back. Yeah.
I have a story about Pokemon Go.
Uh-oh.
So shout out to my old Noodles Bloomingdale team. We used to play the fuck out of Pokemon Go. Like, we campaigned to try to get a stop located on at our store. Like, that's how much we played it. So it had to have been at least like 6 or 7 of us that all played it. And like, I mean, we would always do trades with each other. We would go out, especially when remote raids was a thing. I don't know if it's still a thing. I haven't played it in like a year or two. So when remote raids were a thing, go ahead.
They did have it for a little bit. I'm interrupting you. They did have it for a little bit, but I think they like started charging for the remote raid passes. So like a lot of people are just like, if you're gonna do that, just get rid of them. So I couldn't. They were in there the last time I played, but you had to pay premium or Pokecoins for them, or you got them as part of like completing your daily or monthly quests or whatever it is now. But if they're still in there as of this day, I don't know. I don't have the game on my phone.
Yeah, I don't know if they still have them or not, but like for a while, like I mean, yeah, that was a thing. Like they had them as part of like a daily like reward or whatever like that, or like after your week or whatever like that, you would get a raid pass. But I was also spending money on it. Like we were just spending money. We were spending money on the game. We were doing the remote raids. Like legit, we would be in the middle of a shift during dinner, and like, oh, there's a freaking like whenever they would have it was like raid Wednesdays or something like that. It was like a certain raid day where they would have like a specific legendary Pokemon in the raids, and like we would all freaking like everybody pulled their phone out, and then that's what we're doing is we're freaking doing raids and shit. Like, and we're all still working at the same time, but like we had like one designated person who would like, especially because it got so. I never did this, but there was a couple of people who had like ghost accounts, so they would like because they were trying to get shinies and they were trying to get like the hundos and stuff like that. So like one guy had legit. I shit you not, he had 5 phones that he was doing this on. He had 5 accounts that he was doing this on. So he had his 5 phones and he's doing a raid, right? And then everybody would just hand him their phone so that he could like do the raid while we were like working and stuff like that. Or there'd be like 2 people in back designated to do the raid while everybody else is working still. It was fun. It was like, but at the same time, the manager at the store at the time, he did it as like kind of like a team building thing. So like it really worked because everybody was into it. So we always freaking like did it. It was so much fun, dude. And like up to the point where like when I still lived in Carroll Stream, me and my roommate at the time, we would like go out Pokemon hunting every so often. We'd just go on walks and be like, yeah, let's freaking hit the stops that are behind our apartment and maybe hit a gym or 2 and fucking like, yeah, come back and like, yeah, let's see what we got and maybe trade some Pokemon or whatever the case may be. But Pokemon Go was really fun for a while, but then after a while, like especially because I left that store and went to another, I just didn't have a team anymore. So like it just wasn't as fun because nobody at the fucking store that I went to gave a shit about Pokemon. I was like, oh,
lame, no.
Yeah, so that's my story about Pokemon Go. But as far as like mobile games and stuff like that, I mean, the only reason I ever started playing mobile games to begin with back in the day was because like I needed something to do. I was taking a shit, so like
read a book.
legit. So I mean, I played Angry Birds. I played Subway Surfers. I'm trying to think of Doodle Jump, freaking Words with Friends, all that shit. I really got out of them for like a really long time, and like I said, so these are kind of like my little guilty pleasures where I'm just like, yeah, I've seen this ad, but that looks like a fun, interesting like puzzle, and I'd like to challenge my mind. So like, let's do that.
Half the time, it's not even the same game in the end.
That's true.
True, very true. It very much is not.
Oh man! Well, one mobile game that I have actually been playing for about over 10 years is Mortal Kombat Mobile.
Oh my god, dude! I forgot about that.
I've been playing it since high school.
Was it MKX Mobile?
Yeah, I think it's
It was Mortal Kombat 10, right?
No, it was before Mortal Kombat. It came out in 2015. It was just Mortal Kombat Mobile.
Well, yeah, no, but it was tied to Mortal Kombat 10.
Yeah, and then they had, because I think before that one they had an Injustice one that I played on my phone too, but
had that bitch too.
Yeah, to this day I'm still playing it.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I never really got into the mobile games. Like I said, I tried. There's a few. I'm an avid Command and Conquer player. Like I really like Command and Conquer. It's an RTS. I would argue it's one of the better ones out there. And when I saw it was like, oh, you can play Command and Conquer on your phone, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And it's nothing. I should have known too. It's nothing like the actual like Command and Conquer's on the computer. I think that's when I started to lose faith in like mobile gaming. I shouldn't say lose faith. That's when I realized that like mobile gaming isn't for me because I'm looking for something that they can't offer. Like I'll be honest with you, when they announced Diablo Immortal, I was actually probably one of the few people that was excited for that. A Diablo game I can play on my phone that functions like a Diablo game. Like, I was surprised that like a lot of people were upset about that. And I get it. Like, everyone's waiting for the next best Diablo, and Immortal definitely wasn't it. And Immortal's very pay to win, unfortunately. But like, it wasn't a terrible game. Like, it was decent. It wasn't terrible. It was decent. And I played it for a while on my phone, but even that, I uninstalled it. I don't play on my phone. Like, I mean, I like to read on my phone, and I like to, watch dumb videos on my phone, but I don't feel like playing a game. I feel like if I'm going to play a game, I might as well, come downstairs and play on the computer, or maybe turn on the PlayStation that's only been used twice. But yeah. Ooh, I hear fresh beer being popped.
It is a fresh beer indeed.
Nice. Have you guys ever played like a Sim City or like anything like that?
Oh. Yeah, back in the day, but honestly, I was like kind of young and I really didn't get the point of it, so I was just like, I just never really got into playing it too much. So I mean, I played it a little bit, but I never really like got into it.
Mm. Dan?
Yeah, same for me. I played it when I was a lot younger, and I think at the time I didn't have like the attention span for it.
Yeah, same.
I will say that like that SimCity is one of those games where like when you get the idea of it, like planning out your own city and watching it grow and having to balance like your industry, your commercial, and your residential and stuff like that, it gets kind of addicting because you always want to try to create like oh, what if I did all industry and very little commercial and residential, and like I want it's a good one. Like, it's a good simulator. Like, you can just turn your brain. Well, you can't fully turn your brain off, but like it's relaxing to me to play like a Sim City or. But I think City Skylines is pretty. I've never played Skylines, but my wife has. I've watched it played, and it's pretty intuitive, I think. But it can get boring very fast. And like likewise, on that same like, I remember when Maxis was a huge company. I don't know if you guys even know that name anymore, but it's a division of EA, and they had they did all of the sim games. Like, I remember one of my very first sim games was Sim Ant, and you were an ant, and you had to roam like the yard and like scavenge food to feed your queen, and then it would rain. And if you didn't have your anthill set up right, your queen would drown, and there was a spider that got you, and then you like were able to use your pheromones to like attract ants to bigger food to bring back to your nest, and then there were red ants in the yard, and you like would be able to fight them. And the whole point was to kill the red ant queen, and then you would like move inside the house. And there was like, I don't know, I can't remember if it was centipede or still the spider. No, it was still the spider. And that was like one of the very first, besides Sim City, Sim Ant was one of the very first games that like was out there. It was fun, but then that also spawned like all of like the crappy, like back in the day simulator games like Sim Hospital, Sim Copter, Sim Town was a really fun one. Like, it was like a Sim City builder for kids, and I will tell you this: that game was it was targeted for kids. It was hard. It was like, you had to balance your trees, your water, and your air. And I'm like, oh, that should be easy. Nah, it wasn't easy. Nah, oh, God. But that's another one that I can remember as a child playing, like, I want to play SimTown. And then, you'd hop on and make your little town, and you'd fail, like, an hour later because you couldn't balance your crap out. But then, like, nowadays, you got, like Dan and I were talking about, you got your farming simulator, there's grass cutting simulator, there's American and Euro Truck Simulator, there's Train Simulator, which I believe was the staple for all of the simulator games coming out, because I don't know if you know this, but if you go on Steam and try to buy the entirety of Train Simulator 2024, it's in the tens of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
What?
I will pull it up right now so someone else can take the mic.
So you said Sim Ant.
Uh-huh.
That whole game sounds exactly like the basis of Grounded.
I love Grounded. You played Grounded?
I didn't play it. No, I had friends who played it quite a bit. But like everything that you said, I was like, that sounds like Grounded.
Yeah. So Grounded's a little different. Grounded is a survival game. So
Mhm.
for those of you that haven't played Grounded, which I'm assuming neither one of you have, is that correct?
I haven't played, no.
Okay. So what Grounded is it is I don't know if you guys have played like DayZ or like Don't Starve Together or Don't Starve or Don't Starve Together in I think it's multiplayer. But it's one of those ones where you're dropped in a world and you have to use like the surroundings of the world to like get you to the end of like, you know, whatever the end result is of the game. So what Grounded is actually it's because it came out in the era of like zombie survival games. DayZ, 7 Days to Die. There's like one or two more that I can't picture. I can't remember. But
State of Decay.
what's that?
State of Decay.
Maybe that. Yeah, I think that's one of them. So Grounded launches by Obsidian, and it's the same thing, but it's an entirely different take on it. So you're a bunch of teenagers that wake up in a backyard, and you're tiny, and you basically have to use the grass and sticks to make like your first house and your tools. And instead of like fending off zombies, there's bugs. And I think that game launched at the perfect time to be as successful as it was because at the time it was all zombie survival. Like, oh, go to the city and scavenge, like, you know, whatever you can find and then try to make a base. And 7 Days to Die, what the niche thing was like in 7 days you would get like a blood moon and the horde would come after you and you'd had to survive. So every 7 days that would happen. Grounded is just like a progressive survival game. And Ashley and I got to the very end of that game. We didn't beat it yet. I'm still wondering when the heck we're ever going to do that. And the progression gets difficult, but it is fun because it's all stuff like you see out there. Like, you know, one of the harder terrains is the sandbox, and I'm like, that's genius. It's a sandbox with no lid, so when the sun hits it, the sand heats up. So you need like armor that keeps you cool, so you don't get too hot. And then there's like there's ants in the sandbox. There's ant lions in the sandbox, and there's a couple of wolf spiders that roam around. It is if that game ever goes on sale, I recommend picking it up. It is phenomenal. A+.
Yeah, see, I never played it. Like I said, I had a friend who played, or I had a couple friends who played it, I think. And then, did it come out during COVID? Was it during 2020?
It might have been. I thought it was the year before that, but it might have been COVID.
And even if it was the year before, I think it definitely got popular during 2020 because, like, obviously, because nobody was out going to do anything. So, you know, people were at home playing video games, and I feel like zombies, like a zombie survival game, was probably a little too close to home. So people were like, "Oh, you know, this makes a little bit more sense." Fighting off ants instead of, you know, looking diseased corpses. So
I guess, yeah, it could have been that.
maybe it was just my thought.
Oh. So I don't have the full price of Train Simulator on here, but there's 765 DLCs for the game.
Wow.
How many? I'm sorry.
765.
That's insane.
Yeah. And it's like
65.
Yep, and it's like train packs, and then it's like paint packs, and it's I want to say the entirety of all the DLCs is like $10,000.
Wow.
That's
can't-
nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Holy
So,
crap.
But no, I think Grounded. Grounded might be up there with one of my favorite. One of my favorite video games of all time. It's a masterpiece, and just like the fact that you kill other bugs like ladybugs to make harder armor for yourself, and then like you can eventually get like, and they've added so much to the game too since I've played. There's like tier 1 armor, tier 2 armor, tier 3 armor, and stuff like that, and like. There's bosses in there too. There's a few bosses. I won't spoil any of the bosses for anyone that's listening, or if you guys ever play it, because the bosses are fun. It's fun to find out like where they are and like how you summon them and stuff like that. It's just all around a good game. Like if you like survival games, I recommend that game 100%. It's so good. And there's another game that Ash and I bought that's similar called Small Land, and it is less good. It's like a C+ game for me. It's like, not that I'm rating games over here, but like it lacks a lot of what made Grounded good. I mean, the cool thing is that you can kind of transport your base from tree to tree in Small Land, whereas like Grounded, like you built a base somewhere, that base was there, and you just kind of had to deal with it. But base building in Grounded was 10,000 times better than it was in Small Land, so I didn't mind building multiple bases because it was actually fun to do it. But yeah, Grounded, play it. It's fun. Yeah, I'm still trying to find the price for this. I'm sorry.
That's crazy though. Who's buying all this DLCs?
Dude, there are people out there that trains in general just like, I'm a train guy. I love trains. I like to look at trains. I like, my son's got Thomas the Tank Engine stuff for Christmas and stuff like that, and I love just watching them go around the track because I like trains. Still not going to spend $10,000 on a train simulator game. Sorry. Pass.
Right.
Hard pass. Let's put my family in debt so I can play trains on the computer.
Play trains all day.
I'm a conductor, Mom. So I think that we have to touch on a subject. I don't think anyone's brought it up yet. But before I bring it up, Dan, you got anything? Like anything you want to bring up?
No, go ahead.
Nico, you got anything?
I'll save it for the end.
Are you sure? You want to do it now?
Yeah. No, I'm sure.
But what if what I say is the same thing?
I highly doubt it.
Is it MMOs? Is
highly
there's
doubt
going to be MMOs?
No, it's not. Not
Okay.
at all.
Horror games.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a whole other genre of game that we have yet to even touch on. And like, I think there's a fine line between horror and suspense when it comes to video games. But do you guys remember like the very first like actual horror game that you played, whether at console or PC?
I think the first one I played that I would consider horror. Would you consider Silent Hill horror?
Oh yes, because that's
Yeah.
the one I'm thinking of too. Which Silent Hill?
Trying to remember. I think it was Silent Hill 2.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. That
was the first one.
yeah. That's the one you played, or that's yeah.
That's on PlayStation. Was it on PlayStation 2?
Yes,
I think so.
I believe so.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first one that I played.
I don't, and that might have been the very first horror game I played. But I think that is, well, Nico, what do you got?
Aside from Resident Evil, I've played a couple of Resident Evils, and I think the first one I ever played might have been 3. I'm pretty sure. I think that's what it was. I think it was Resident Evil 3, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but for whatever reason, I mean, that's not sticking in my head right now. What's sticking in my head right now is a couple of games that I played with a friend of mine back on his Wii, because he had a hacked Wii, and so he had access to a bunch of different games. And there was a ton, a literal shit ton of Korean and Japanese horror games. One in particular was like, it was almost, I think it was like Missed Call or something like that, where like you would get a phone call on the freaking on the Wii controller and like have to pick it up, and it'd be like, you know, whatever the hell it is that's chasing you, freaking telling you some shit in a foreign language, and I'm just like, yo, what the fuck?
That sounds wild.
It was crazy. I don't know what it was called. I feel like it was called like Missed Call or is something along those lines. And you're like in an abandoned school, and it's being haunted by like ghosts of students, mainly girl students who were, you know, killed there in somewhere or fashion, and like they're haunting you, and you basically have to try and solve their murder. It was the freaking wildest game I ever played, and I was like, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sleep after this.
It's called Calling.
Is that what it is?
You found it?
Oh, dude. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Tater, I'm going to interrupt real quick. So I found it. The total price tag for Train Simulator on Steam is $10,373.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Who is buying all of that?
Well,
That's
let me
like
just finish typing in my credit card information, and I'll let you know.
No. Obviously, that's like if you buy everything all together, right? So, like,
yes, yeah. You could buy the base game for $30, but if you want that super special Steam engine, that's another $30.
Jesus,
that's a little ridiculous, yeah. No, actually, Nico, you bring up a good point with that stuff. Like a lot of the indie games, like horror games, that are like they can really like leave a, I don't want to say a scar, but like definitely you don't forget them. One of my favorite all-time horror games is Fatal Frame. That one. Have you played that?
I feel like I have. Hold on, go ahead.
It's a game where you're basically capturing ghosts in a camera. And I believe it's a Japanese style. It's a Japanese game. Like there's just like, it's one of those games, like, I know you said Resident Evil was horror, and like I think everyone thinks of it as horror, but I feel like that's more of an action game. I guess I can't say that because Silent Hill is kind of the same. And I consider Silent Hill a horror game, and I guess I do consider Resident Evil a little bit of a horror game. But I guess zombies didn't scare me that much. I don't know. But so this game, like, the ghosts you would randomly have ghost encounters, and it would be one of those things where like you would hear the noise, and they can come through the ceiling, they can come through the floor, they can come through the walls, they can like you would open a door and there'd just be a ghost face there, and you'd have to like pull up the camera and like try to capture them, or I guess destroy them with the camera. And it was that game, like. That game made my hair stand on the back of my neck for a while. Like I would play that game in the dark. It was just one of those games that were phenomenal.
But, yeah, I have played that actually, and
Fatal Frame?
pretty sure I played it. I'm pretty sure I played it on the Wii as well.
There was a version on the Wii, but I thought that might have been the hacked Wii version because I don't remember it being. Yeah,
I think so. Because I remember playing that, and I was like, it was another one where I was just like, dude, what the fuck? I don't know if I can keep playing this fucking game. That was also around the same time that I was. Oh, sorry. That was around the same time that I was introduced to Slender Man as well.
Good old Slendy.
That one wasn't as bad, but like it was like it was Slender Man, and then it was all the rest of those, and I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
Sorry, Dan. Go ahead, man.
No, you're good. I was just asking Dan if there's any other horror games that he's played.
I mean, I played some indie horror games like the Mortuary's Assistant or
That's a good one.
Phasmophobia.
That's a good one.
One I don't know why I forgot about it, but Outlast. Did you guys ever play Outlast?
Yes.
That one was a good one, man.
That game creeped me out. I don't
Yeah,
get
that
scared
one.
easily, but like that's another one that like made the hair stand on the back of your neck. Like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Because you really couldn't do shit.
Yeah, you were the weakling protagonist. Like,
Literally no weapons, nothing. You couldn't do shit, and there was just people coming out of like every nook and cranny, and just like I think just the setting of it was just really like scary. Like even if nothing scary was happening, you were always on edge just because of like the creepiness of everything. I think that was a really, really good one that comes to mind.
That is a good one, yeah.
Would you consider Dead Space a horror game?
Yes, I think that one again teeters on like horror and action. I don't want to say action adventure, but like kind of like a action game. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's considered horror.
Yeah, because that's another good one too.
I love Dead Space. Did you play Dead Space, Nico?
I did not actually. It just that's one of those games that just kind of missed me. I've heard a lot of people who do like it, or I've had some friends who do like it, and swear by it and stuff like that. But it's again, it was like one of those ones that just kind of missed me, and I never got back around to trying it out. So,
well, if you ever get bored and need something to do, I recommend playing that one. That one's a solid horror shooter. Maybe it's third person shooter. So, but how about Fear? Have either of you guys played Fear before?
I don't think I have. No, I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
I've definitely heard of it. I'm trying to remember if I've played it at all. Hold on one second.
That's a good one. Fear is a really good one.
No, you know what? No, I didn't ever play this. I did not.
Yeah, Fear is one of those ones that's like I think it's kind of borders like an action game versus a horror game, but it's like things would just kind of jump out at you, ghosts. It was a pretty creepy game. I wouldn't say it's like super scary, but it was creepy. How about Eternal Darkness for GameCube?
Right off the bat, I did not. 'Cause I didn't have a GameCube, so.
Aw, boo.
Yeah, boo this man, boo him.
No, I never played Eternal Darkness. No.
That was a phenomenal game. It's definitely a horror game, but like you're kind of going through, like you're playing through stories of like different characters that kind of linked up with your family, and like at the beginning of the game, I don't think this might be spoilers, I guess. But at the beginning of the game, you get to choose what boss you fight at the end of the game with the first character that you play. And it's like the full circle thing on it. It's just it was cool. Like I enjoyed the action in that game, the creepiness in that game, and also they had sanity effects, which is a whole nother thing for me. So like it would act like your TV turned off and then your character was dying, or like your controller got unplugged, or like the volume went all the way down, or sometimes like the room would load and it would like you'd be on the ceiling, and then sometimes it'd be like, oh, erasing all of data because of corruption, and like it would just go black for a minute and then it would come back. No, you should look them up on like you look up a YouTube video on Eternal Darkness. And just like look up like sanity effects in Eternal Darkness. They were on point with that. It was awesome. And like when your first playthrough happens in that game and you see like, all data erasing because of corruption, and you're just like, what the and then Oh, it's a sanity effect. But because a lot of it has to do with one of my other favorite subjects, which we'll have to save for like another time. But a lot of the sanity stuff comes from like the Cthulhu mythos, where like because where like Cthulhu messes with your sanity and makes you go crazy, all that kind of stuff. I think like, and that game was very much a cosmic horror type game because like you fought cosmic like alien giant beasts, and it's just a fun game. It was all around a fun game. But
it piqued my interest.
yeah, I would say like if you can get an emulator, it's probably still worth playing. If not, I actually recommend you just watch someone play it on YouTube because it's that good that I could probably watch a whole playthrough of it.
Nice.
But yeah, so how? Sorry, Nico, did you have something? I don't remember.
Like I said, I'm gonna leave it till the very last thing. I'm keeping it very close to the chest on this one.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, I already know both of your guys' answer for this, but I feel like we should talk about it a little bit. How do you guys feel about the Helldivers craze from last year?
You motherfucker! Swear to God.
Well, you never bought it, so
Exactly. I don't know what to think of it because I never bought it.
I
It
think
looks
Dan played
fun
it.
as shit. It looks fun as shit. But
go ahead. No, you finish your
I was
thought.
gonna say, but like I just never. I don't know why I never bought it. I just never bought it, and like it seems to be one of those games that like had a dedication and it had a hype around it for a long time, for a while, and then it kind of dropped off. But then as soon as like this new DLC or this new expansion, whatever it is that just came out recently, like reinvigorated that. But I don't know. Maybe it's my algorithm. Whatever. I don't know. But like, it just hasn't been coming across my vision anymore. So I don't know if maybe it's fallen off again or like what the deal is. So I don't know from a first-hand perspective. I know I still kind of want to try to play it. I just need to fucking buy it. So
I will say, like, Helldivers is one of those things where, like, if you two both bought it and you called us up and were like, hey, we're going to jump on Helldivers, I think Ash and I would jump on with you and we could probably game all night long with that. So the game, I'll be honest with you, the game is frustrating at times, but it is, like, stupid fun.
yeah.
Like, the deaths are funny and frustrating. Like, everything about the game is just, like, the objectives seem simple, but they're silly. Like it's all around. I think that game is, if you can get it somewhat on sale. I mean, not that it's expensive. I think it's only $40 or whatever. But like, if you could pick it up on a Steam sale or whatever, and like, I would get it just to add it to your like an ammunition of games because it's one of those ones where like you could just. I mean, I don't think you can hop on by yourself anymore because I think that was part of the heartache. Was like there are some people that don't want to play with like groups of people, and Helldivers made it like, this is a group focused game. And like I mean I've cheated the system a little bit. I got really good. I don't want to say so good, but I got really good at the game where I can handle a certain, like, I think it was hard difficulty by myself. Like I knew I could just handle the the enemies and like had a strategy for it. I had a loadout for it. Um, just to grind up some, like, because you don't like, you can collect the in game, like the paid for currency in game. Like if you get lucky, you can get enough real, what is it called? I can't remember what they're called, but like you don't have to actually buy currency in that game. You can just grind it out. And like I would do missions on like hard because you get like I think an extra chance to get it or something like that. And then you just have to, you don't even have to exit with the, like, you don't even have to beat the mission or the deployment. You just pick it up, and if you die, you still get to take it back with you. But I like to be successful because like some of the titles, I'm like, oh, they draw you in with the title. Like there was like a Hell Commander. I'm like, I really want that title, and it's just a title in Helldivers. Like Hell Commander, that's a cool title. I really want that title. But yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those games where I haven't played it in a little bit, but like I keep looking at it like I really want to get back on that. So, Yeah.
Dan, you have any thoughts on Helldivers 2?
No, I
Anything you
mean,
wanna add to that?
same as you. Like
Right.
a lot of people were hyping it up. I mean, my friends were playing it, but just from what like I saw, I didn't think it was like a game that I could get into. So I never really ended up buying it. I think I was too busy playing Call of Duty at the time.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Hopping on duty, bruh.
Yeah.
Hopping on duty, bruh.
Have you have either of you heard of Factorio?
No.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no.
See, I feel like this episode can go on for hours.
Probably.
And I'm the loser that's like bringing up all these games, right? If you want to talk about a game where if you want like a very brain stimulating game where you want to think about what you're playing, Factorio. And so what it is, it's a survival game, and again, it's very unique in what it is. But like, so the whole idea is that your ship crash landed on an alien planet. There are bugs, but like the combat isn't even like what you're focused on. So you start off with just like your little jackhammer, and you can harvest up some coal and stuff like that. And then, but the idea is to build a fully automated factory to launch your rocket. And when I tell you, like, you literally have to think about your layout, because like the whole point is to produce colored science. So like the first science is like red science, and it's really easy. Like you need like a computer chip and like two other things, and then you get red science, and then you put red science in your science lab, and you can research things to get better stuff. Well, by the time you get to white science, like your factory just to produce one white science spans the entire bottom of the map. And it's like, this pipe has to go here, this thing has to go here, this has to be input here, I need resources of this here, and all to make one computer chip to go into the white science thing. And it's stupid fun. It took me 88 hours to launch my rocket into space.
Oh, wow.
And I was playing that before my son was born. And like I would play it religiously. Like I would just like tune Ashley out. I would tune out everything else. I'd put on a little bit of music, and I would just stare at my screen and like plan my factory for the day. And then like if there's things that are far away, there's a rail system. You can build tanks and mechs to like, not multiple, but like there's a tank and a spider mech that you can build to like eradicate the enemies, because if you pollute too much, then they come and attack your base. The cool thing about that is you can have factories producing ammo that automate loading into cannons that will shoot the enemies that attack your base. It's multiplayer. That's the best part about it. Like that's another one. Like, if you guys like buy that game, we can all make a giant freaking factory together, and it's stupid fun. How many hours do I have in Factorio? 209 hours in Factorio. So, yeah, it's a fun one. It's a fun one. What about have either of you guys played like roguelike? Do you guys like roguelike games? Risk of Rain, Rogue Legacy, Binding of Isaac, anything like that? Have you guys played any of those? Oh, Dan, I feel like I should have been the host of this. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. So like basically what roguelikes are is like it's one of those ones where like Rogue Legacy, when you die, you actually become stronger. Because you gain coins during your run, and then you die, and you use those coins to buy upgrades, and then you play the next run with upgrades, and you die, and you buy more upgrades, and then you die, and you buy more upgrades, and eventually like you unlock characters, and you unlock this, and you unlock that, and Ashley actually, I wound up getting her. I don't want to say hooked on it. She played it for a while, but then there's like Risk of Rain and Risk of Rain 2, where like you pick a character and you just kind of run through and get as far as you can, unlock new classes along the way, and then you just try to do better your next run and try to do better your next run. So it's like one of those ones where once you die, the game's over. You start over again. Risk of Rain was probably my favorite roguelike for a long time. I put a lot of hours into that one too. Let me see. Risk of Rain, where are you? Where are you? R. It's in alphabetical order, dumbass. Only 50 hours. It's not that much. I thought it would have been more than that, but it's another fun one. And then there's I guess I could have said No Man's Sky for the biggest hype and the biggest letdown. That was
Oh yeah.
Oh, no,
I completely forgot about that.
I did too. I'll say this: I liked it for the first couple hours that I played it because I was like, "This is right up my alley." Like I'm finding new species and categorizing them, and like I get to name them and like all this other stuff. First like 2 planets I ever visited, I was like, "This is cool, awesome, sweet." I got to like my third planet, and I was just like, one, couldn't breathe the atmosphere. That sucked. Two, all the like animals and flora and all this other stuff started looking exactly the same, and I was like, all right, this is getting a little tedious.
yikes.
And then had to start like trying to find resources to like freaking like add to my like to add to my survivability and all this other stuff. And it got to the point where I was just like, I can't even enjoy this now because like half the time I'm trying to survive the breathing in the atmosphere on this planet. I can't even go through and categorize or catalog any of the stuff that I'm fucking discovering and shit. So it's like, all right, I can't come back to this planet, not yet. And so yeah, after the first couple hours, I was like, all right, this is getting old. I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, I felt like
Afterwards,
go ahead. No, you finish.
I was gonna say I've heard that it got better after time or whatever like that. But like, dude, if you're gonna hype a game up that much, I feel like at launch it should be like at least an 8 out of 10. Don't be freaking sitting here, you know, hyping it up this much, and then it turns out to be a dud, and then it takes you 2 years to like fix the game and make it like semi-playable.
Isn't that the state of gaming now? Is everything is early access to get more money to finish the game?
And that seems to be the business model now. Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah. I don't know. What else can I touch on? There's like so many games I can talk about. Oh, Evil Within. Back to horror games. Evil Within. Have you guys played Evil Within?
I played a little
No,
bit
but I
of it.
fucking wanted to.
It's good. You guys should play it. It's a good one. I recommend 2 thumbs up for Evil Within. Evil Within 2, not so much. I mean, it's good, but it wasn't the same. Like didn't have the same like intense feeling as the first one. First one's amazing. So it had its own Pyramid Head, and I was very thankful for that. It was a cool monster to deal with.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I touched on like that the first game that got me into like hardcore gaming was Tekken. So that's a fighting game. What other sort of fighting? I mean, are you guys into fighting games at all? And if so, like which ones did you like go hard on?
Dan, you first.
I think main one that stands out to me is going to be Mortal Kombat. I think I've played. Well, I played all the newer ones for sure, but I think the first Mortal Kombat that I played was on the was it either Nintendo 64 or I think it was, what was it, Mortal Kombat Trilogy. That's what it was. That's the first one I played. But yeah,
okay, that's
fighter. Yes, I'm gonna go with Mortal Kombat. How about you?
Oh, my turn?
Yeah.
yeah. You
Super Smash Brothers. It's the
There
only
you go.
good fighting
That's what's
game.
up.
It's the only good fighting game.
I'm so bad at that.
I'd argue against that, but I give it to you. Smash Brothers is a really good game. I would argue that like almost all of them have been like pretty good. I know that some people, I think it was Melee that
Melee.
not a lot of people liked, but
No, Melee is the one that everybody liked.
or which one is it that people were kind of on? Is it Brawl?
Brawl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, Smash Brothers is fun. Tekken, between Tekken and Mortal Kombat, those were always kind of my favorites. I got into Street Fighter a little bit. I loved that they came out with Injustice because I had always wanted a DC superhero fighting game, and that was like the coolest, especially because like when they came out with technically Mortal Kombat 8, so Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. I was like, you got a little taste of it, and I was like, oh, this is sweet. I get to fight as Batman or Superman and blah, blah, blah. And then they came out with Injustice, and those two games both were like really, really fun. The first Injustice was like awesome. So much so that like, I mean, they even came out with like tiny comic book series to it, and the comic books were really cool too. But Marvel versus Capcom.
Ooh.
I played all three games. I played the first two in arcades. Loved them. Fucking absolutely loved them. And again, Mortal Kombat. I mean, I played Mortal Kombat 1 on a freaking arcade cabinet as a kid. So like, and I mean, as I grew up and they were on freaking, on consoles and stuff, my cousins had them, so I would play those as well. And I like grew up with the franchise, so it's that one's probably like one of my favorite fighting games for sure. I know that's kind of generic and whatever. I mean, there's some people who are into fighting games who are like, oh, what about like King of Fighters or Killer Instinct or I don't know, what is it, Dead or Alive or some bullshit. Like, I don't play any of those really. I mean, Killer Instinct's kind of cool, but for me, it was always Mortal Kombat.
Super Smash.
Super Smash Brothers.
I love that game.
Yeah. What else? I mean, I know we could literally go forever on like genres and stuff. How about that? Why don't we start winding it down with that? Like, what's your favorite genre of game?
All of them.
Oof, yeah, that's a hard one.
I don't know if I could pick one. It depends on my mood, I guess. Really, like some days I want to shoot demons, some days I want to flip houses. I guess there are some days where I want to build a city, or I'm actually playing a game currently called the Worshippers of Cthulhu, and it is a phenomenal city builder / resource management game. It's a game that popped up during the winter sale on Steam, and I'm like, it's cheap. I like Cthulhu. I like city builders, and like I was like, oh man, this game is cool as hell. You can summon cosmic horrors to fight, like, I guess there's like other, I don't want to say cultists, but yeah, you're basically the cult leader. I can't remember what they call them, but and you like your followers don't really know. I mean, they do. They worship Cthulhu or whatever, but like they're also not in the know, and you can sacrifice them for like favor and then like you. So like each survivor comes with like a specialty, and like you can like put a symbol on their back, like carve a symbol on their back, and change their specialty so they work at can be more proficient at another place of work. It's a good game. Like I'm actually having a lot of
Nice.
fun with it. It's amazing. But
That
like
sounds
it is. Oh, dude, like it is. It's a great game. I think it's still in early access, so I might have got suckered into another, early access game. But I don't know that I can pick I can pick a genre of game that I hate, but I don't know if I can pick my favorite one. Sports. I can't.
Really?
I don't understand I understand racing, but like sport games, like I like NHL, but I mean even that I'm just like I'd rather just watch this on TV when there's games on, right? I don't know, it's just not for me. Yeah.
just to touch on your like sports game aversion. I share that, except for one game which I can't even fucking play anymore, and it was ESPN's 2K. Was it 2K5 or 2K3? Uh, NFL football, and so it wasn't it wasn't NFL 2K or it wasn't Madden or anything like that. This was one that was put out by like I think Activision and ESPN, and it had Terrell Owens as like the cover celebrity. I loved that game so much. I loved it so much, and it was probably the only sports game aside from like NBA or NFL Street that I ever like really played and got into. But yeah. As far as the genre, I like fighting games quite a bit, and like I kind of said before, I really like single player, like story driven RPGs. But if I had to pick one that like really kind of has a special place in my heart, it's probably dungeon crawlers. Because like I like Diablo, I love Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I love X-Men Legends. Those were really fun games to me, and those all had the same like style where they're like dungeon crawler style games. And if I were to ever create a video game for myself, that's the style game I think I would play. It'd be a dungeon crawler if it wasn't like an action RPG. You, Dan?
I think it's hard to pick one, but I think one that I've been playing almost all my life would probably just be racing. I've just always started off with Need for Speed, and I've always just kind of gravitated more towards those games. I mean, I'm currently replaying like all the older Need for Speeds. I just bought what was it, Need for Speed Undercover the other day. It plays horrible on PC though. It's the only thing that sucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. The port is just really bad on it. But I mean, that's how it is with a lot of older games I've noticed. Because I think another game that I bought on Steam was Saints Row 2, and it was just like unplayable on PC.
Damn.
Well, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I would probably go with racing, or I got into MMOs for a bit. I think one MMO that I played online for a really long time was Dead Frontier. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's like a zombie. No? Yeah, it's like a zombie MMO RPG. It was like a 2D browser game.
Wow.
Yeah, I grinded that.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, you guys got anything else? I'm about done with my third beer here.
I mean, I have a ton of things, but I mean, we're running into the 2-hour mark, so might have to make a part 2 of this eventually.
Part 2, 3, 4, 5 answers.
Yeah, right. I mean, I feel like I could talk about video games all day, but I'm about done with my third beer as well. So
yeah, I'm finishing mine too.
Oh, so what is this near and dear subject to your heart there, Nico? I'm
you gotta tell us.
Well, let's wait until the very end here. Dan,
it can't be,
I'm done.
Be that.
It will be. Don't worry. I'm done with my third beer. I mean, I'm ready to go. If you guys are good.
All right.
Well, nothing else you guys want to hit.
No, yeah, I think that's it for this episode. Like Nick said, we're probably gonna have multiple episodes on gaming. So before we close this out, Nico, what is this?
Yeah, Nico, what is it?
Have you ever heard of Prism Chapter 1, The Dark Unicorn? And if not, you might not be a real gamer. I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Dan, close us out.
All right, well,
I feel like that's something you made.
that's I don't know what to say to that, but thank you guys for tuning in with us on this lovely episode. Probably first of many on the video game topic, but it's been real. Your host for today, Dan, the Heartthrob, signing out. Handing it over to Nick. Want to say goodbye,
Later, guys.
Nico?
Bye, everybody.
Prison
Perfect.
Chapter 1.
How long I've been waiting for this.